You check your phone. No new messages. You scroll through Instagram. Everyone's laughing, making plans, posting group photos with captions like squad goals and best night ever. And in your chest, that familiar weight, that quiet ache. And society doesn't ask questions, it gives labels. You're broken. You're awkward. You're a loner. But what if the problem isn't you? What if the problem is your filter? What if your mind simply refuses to accept cheap connection? People will tell you, you need to socialize more. Be more outgoing. People are important, don't isolate yourself. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. But here's the truth, they won't tell you. If your mind is wired to detect noise, if you instinctively reject surface-level interaction, if you physically feel drained by conversations that go nowhere, then you're not lonely. You're selective, and there's a massive difference. See, most people confuse quantity with quality. They think having 500 friends on social media and weekend plans every week equals connection. But you'd rather have one real conversation than 100 shallow ones. You'd rather sit in meaningful silence than forced small talk. And today, I'm going to show you 7 traits that are common in people who walk alone. Not because they're broken, but because they operate on a different frequency. Warning, this video won't comfort you. It will give you clarity. And clarity can be uncomfortable. I call this the signal versus noise mind. Most people treat noise as friendship. They accept surface-level banter, gossip, transactional relationships, sand. They call it connection. But your mind only tolerates signal, clear, authentic, substantial. You're like a radio that doesn't pick up every frequency. You're tuned to high-definition transmission, and when all that's around you is static, silence becomes the only logical choice. This isn't antisocial behavior. This is quality control. Think of it this way. A weak Wi-Fi router connects to everything nearby slow, unstable, constantly dropping. A strong router, it's selective. It prioritizes. It filters. That's you, not superior, just selective. Quality control, not ego. You're not broken, you're just operating with different standards in a world full of budget connections. Today, we're going to dissect 7 traits. Traits that keep you isolated but also make you powerful. Each trait has a cost. The loneliness, the misunderstanding, the label of being difficult, but each trait also has a gift. Protection from manipulation, clarity of purpose, compound growth. And if you stay until the end, I'll give you a 3-step protocol. How to naturally attract rare, high-quality connections without lowering your standards. Without faking compatibility, without becoming someone you're not. Sound good? Let's begin. Trait number 1. The lie detector. Most people listen to words. You read actions. When someone smiles at you, most people take it at face value. You notice if the smile reaches their eyes. You catch the half-second delay. You register the tension in their shoulders. You notice when their tone doesn't match their body language. People call you judgmental. They say you overthink everything, but what you're actually doing is detecting performance. Let me give you an example. He said he loved the job. Everyone clapped. I saw clenched hands, loud laughter, eyes on the phone. 2 months later, he quit. He told me, I was performing from day one. This radar you have? It's not a curse. It's a survival mechanism. Psychologists call it thin slicing, the ability to make accurate judgments about people within seconds based on minimal information. You do this automatically, and it exhausts you, because while everyone else is enjoying the show, you're backstage seeing the wires, the makeup, the script, the cost. Social circles feel heavy. Every conversation has layers. You see the agenda behind the jokes? You feel the tension beneath the laughter? It's like watching a movie, when you can see all the CGI and green screens you couldn't just enjoy it anymore. The gift. You don't waste time on fake relationships. You're immune to charm offensives. You don't get manipulated as a lead. While others are 6 months into a toxic friendship wondering how did I not see this coming? You saw it in the first conversation. Micro-action. Track 3. Behavior patterns in someone over 7 days. Stop listening to words. Start tracking patterns. Does their behavior match their claims? Do they follow through? Are they consistent or performative? Truth isn't in what people say. It's in what they do when nobody's watching. Trait number 2. Energy economy. For you, small talk isn't bonding. It's energy leakage. How's the weather? Traffic was terrible today. Did you see that thing on TV? Every word drains you. Not because you're antisocial, but because your brain craves substance. You want to talk about ideas, systems, philosophy, future, purpose, strategy, the kind of conversations that make you lose track of time. But most social settings, they're built on shallow banter. And when you try to go deeper, when you ask, what are you working toward? Or what's something you believe that most people disagree with? People look at you like you just brought a textbook to a pool party. So you learn to fake it. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You nod along to conversations that bore you. You're physically present, but mentally, you're 10 books ahead, 3 projects deep, calculating your next move. If this is you, you're not failing at social life. You're refusing to live on low standards. The cost? You get labeled too serious. People say you need to lighten up. Just relax, man. People think you're incapable of fun. But the truth is, you just have a different definition of fun. Deep conversation is fun. Building something meaningful is fun. Small talk? That's work. The gift? Your time is invested in mission, not distraction. While others are spending hours in group chats debating nothing, you're reading, learning, creating, strategizing. You're building compound knowledge, and you'll get in years what most people take decades to learn. Microaction. Keep one deep question ready per gathering. When someone asks, "How's your weekend?" Flip it. Good. But let me ask you something. If you could change one thing about your life right now, what would it be? Watch what happens. 90% will deflect or give a joke answer, but 10%? They'll light up. Those are your people. Signal attracts signal. Noise repels. If you feel this, you're not cold. You're calibrated. If you're still here, you're exactly who this is for. Trait number 3. Autonomy, immune system. The moment a group establishes unwritten rules, your mind resists. Everyone's going, so you should too. This is just how we do things. Don't rock the boat. You don't respect trends. You respect logic. And when the two conflict, you choose logic every single time. This makes you dangerous to people who rely on conformity, to controlling personalities, to group dynamics that depend on everyone playing along. Because you don't. You ask why. And if the answer is because everyone else is doing it, that's not an answer to you. That's a red flag. Let's say your friend group decides everyone's chipping in for a birthday gift. Expensive? Excessive? Everyone agrees instantly. You ask one question? Did anyone even ask what they want? Suddenly you're difficult. Not because you were wrong, because you interrupted the script. The cost? You get labeled stubborn, difficult, contrarian. Social invitations dry up. People avoid planning things around you because you always complicate it. The gift? You're immune to peer pressure. You're useless to manipulators. You can't be guilted, shamed, or bullied into compliance. Your decisions are yours. And that makes you one of the most powerful types of people, someone who can't be controlled. Microaction. Stop over-explaining your boundaries. I'm not going, that's a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a thesis defense for your choices. Enforce boundaries quietly. Explain less. Act more. Trait number 4. The compounding clock. You feel time. Not in an anxious way, in a strategic way. Every hour has weight. You're not keeping people around for time pass. You're not filling your calendar with distractions to avoid being alone. You're building. The moment you start saying no to low-value invitations, they stop coming. Good. That's filtration in action. See, here's what most people don't understand. You're not avoiding people because you hate them. You're avoiding time theft. When your peers are binge-watching Netflix series, you're learning a new skill. When they're gossiping about mutual friends, you're designing systems. When they're complaining about life, you're optimizing yours. The misalignment is inevitable, and it's not your job to slow down so they can keep up. Most people react to life. You architect it. That's why your calendar looks empty, but your future won't. The cost? Loneliness spikes. Friday nights are silent. While everyone's out partying, you're in your room working, and sometimes you wonder if you're missing out, if you're wasting your youth, if connection matters more than progress. The gift? Progress compounds. You'll have skills, systems, leverage while others are still figuring things out. Microaction. Block out 60 minutes today for deep work. Notifications off. Phone in another room. One skill, one project, one focus. No multitasking. No just checking social media. Deep dive. Empty calendar. Full trajectory. Trait number 5. Mirror and projection. Some people dislike you for no reason. You've never wronged them, never insulted them, never even had a real conversation, but they dislike you. Why? Because you're a mirror. Your silence makes their noise louder. Your independence exposes their dependency. Your discipline highlights their excuses. And they hate that. So they label you arrogant, cold, weird, thinks they're better than everyone. But here's the truth. This has nothing to do with you. It's projection. They see in you what they wish they had, or what they're afraid to face in themselves. Imagine two people. Person A works out daily, eats clean, doesn't drink. Person B wants to get healthy, but keeps procrastinating. When person A is around, person B feels uncomfortable. Not because person A is judging them, but because person A's existence is a reminder of person B, a zone in action. So what does person B do? They criticize. You're obsessed with fitness. You're no fun. You think you're so disciplined. It's not about you. It's about them. You're the mirror showing them what they refuse to see. The cost? You attract unnecessary hate. People target you. spread rumors, exclude you deliberately. All because your standards make them uncomfortable. The gift. You learn to identify projection instantly. You stop taking things personally. You realize that someone's opinion of you is actually a confession about themselves. Micro-action. When someone dislikes you without cause, don't defend, don't explain, just observe. Ask yourself, what does my existence threaten in them? Usually it's their ego, their comfort zone, their excuses, and that's their work, not yours. But here's where it gets dangerous. Solitude can go two ways. If it's built on discipline, it becomes power. If it's built on bitterness, it becomes poison. I've seen too many people go down this path. They start out selective, intentional, protective of their energy. But somewhere along the way, they cross a line. They stop filtering. They start hating. Everyone's fake. Nobody's worth my time. Humanity is garbage. And they isolate not out of choice, but out of contempt. This is the trap. When your selectivity turns into superiority, when your standards become an excuse for bitterness. When your solitude turns into a cage instead of a sanctuary. Bitterness feels like strength, but it's just pain with a costume. Let me be clear. You don't need more people. You need the right people, and the right people exist. But you won't find them if you've convinced yourself that everyone's beneath you. You won't find them if you've turned your loneliness into an identity instead of a filter. Steak doesn't come from a candy store, but it does exist. You just have to know where to look. And be willing to stay open, selectively open, when signal appears. Trait 6 is where most people lose you, because it exposes why you can't relate to their now. Trait number 6. Chess timeline. You don't just see now. You see consequence? When people say, let's just enjoy the moment, you're already calculating. Where does this lead? What's the cost? Is this aligned with where I'm going? Most people live day to day. You live decade to day, and that creates a massive mismatch. When your friends are planning weekend parties, you're mapping out quarterly goals. When they're chasing short-term dopamine, you're building long-term systems. When they're reacting to life, you're architecting it. This is what I call the isolation of the strategist. You're playing chess, they're playing checkers, and you can't explain the difference without sounding arrogant. So you stop trying. The cost. You're boring in the present moment. People don't get why you turn down fun, why you're always working on something, why you can't just live a little. The gift. You design your life. You don't drift. 5 years from now, you'll be exactly where you planned to be. Most people will still be reacting to whatever life throws at them. Micro-action. Write a 1-year plan. Break it into quarterly milestones. Review it weekly. The future isn't something that happens to you, it's something you construct. Live there mentally. Get comfortable being misunderstood in the present because you're rebuilding for a timeline most people can't even see. Trait number 7. Internal scoreboard. Most people run on external validation. Likes, comments, approval, recognition. You run on purpose. You don't need applause. You need progress. And that makes you terrifying to people who use social leverage as control. Because society's biggest weapon is exclusion. We won't invite you. We'll leave you out. You'll be alone. And for most people, that's devastating. But for you, your response is okay. Not out of bitterness. Not out of spite. Just ... Okay. Because your worth isn't tied to their approval. It's tied to your mission. Your internal scoreboard. Your own standards. When you wake up, you don't check social media to see if people liked your post. You check your progress tracker. Did you move forward yesterday? Are you better than you were last week? That's the only metric that matters. The cost. People can't leverage you. They can't guilt you. They can't use FOMO, so they lose interest. You become too independent, too self-sufficient, and they move on to people they can influence. The gift. You're unstoppable. You're not waiting for permission. You're not waiting for the right moment. You're not waiting for people to believe in you. You're self-sustaining, and that's the rarest form of power. Micro-action. Ship 1. Proof of work weekly. Quietly. A blog post. A piece of code. A design. A strategy doc. Something that's proof of work. Build your internal scoreboard. Make it so robust that external opinions become irrelevant. So here's the question everyone's thinking. How do I find my people? Here's the truth. You don't find them. You attract them. Through signal. Here's the 3-step system. Step 1. Standards, the filter. Stop accepting garbage and calling it friendship. Empty-calorie relationships are worse than no relationship. Silence is better than surface-level noise. Hold the line. Step 2. Signal, the beacon. Rare people aren't found by searching. They're attracted by signal. Your skills, your work, your clarity. When you consistently create, when you show up with substance, the right people notice. Quietly, naturally. You don't need to network. You need to broadcast. Step 3. Social mask, The protection. You don't need to be real everywhere. Office, be polite. Family, be functional. Public, blend in. But your depth? That's reserved. Give access only to those who've earned it. Protect your frequency. Don't distribute it freely. Here's what I need you to understand. You're not lonely. You're early. You arrived at the meeting point first. And yes, it's quiet right now. The others? They're still stuck in the noise. Some will eventually find their way. Some won't. Both outcomes are okay. Your job isn't to go back and get them. Your job is to hold your frequency. To keep building. To stay signal. The right people will arrive. Rare but real. And when they do, you'll know immediately. Because there's no small talk. No performance. No energy leakage. Just ... resonance. If you want me to make a part 2 where I break down practical systems for attracting rare friendships, online strategies, offline environments, community design, drop the word tribe in the comments. And if this video resonated, if you felt seen, subscribe if you're building in silence. This channel is for signal-only people. See you in the next one. Until then, build in silence, rise in power.